Today, I'm going to take a small break from listening to Pink Floyd songs and do a Pink Floyd interview. Uh, well, uh, well, it's not really the full band. It's Roger, Walter, and I just want to become more familiar with the personalities behind the song. It's not a full interview. It's a clip from Joe Rogan, and I believe that Roger is speaking upon Syd Barrett, and I just think that this is necessary for myself. The last song I did, which was Wish You Were Here, was one of the most incredible songs. It was so gut-wrenching. You know, to the young lady and the guy that lost his brother when he was 14 in 1977, my heart does go out to you both. And to all who are going through their own particular pain, trials, anguish, ordeals, strife, contentions, it's abundant, especially nowadays. I just want to become more familiar with them. You know, I'm investing a lot of energy, a lot of sincerity in this journey. So I just want to keep it real with all the guys and gals that have been sticking with me this whole time. It's like unbelievable. I appreciate all the subscribers. I mean, you guys are so intelligent. I mean, very, very intelligent. I mean, very intelligent. Very humorous, very thoughtful, kind-hearted. There's so many words I could use so many positive words I could use to express myself in regards to you guys. I mean, it's just a litany of proof to show how incredible you guys are. So I'm so appreciative of my subscribers, all the comments, all the likes, just all the love and consideration to me and my journey many people use down this rabbit hole. But it's like standing upon a precipice, at the edge of a precipice, looking down into an abyss. It's almost like it's inexplicable. It's like looking into something that has no end. So basically, I want to get into this video, this interview that Roger is having with Joe Rogan, and get a better insight into who Pink Floyd, who they really were. So let's give this a try, you and I. I don't have my headphones today because it's not a music video, so please don't get on me about this. I have my earbud in, and I just want to take this in. I want to really understand Pink Floyd as a group. So if you haven't seen this video, let's watch it together. Let's gain some information from Roger himself. And yeah, let's see what happens.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
So when you guys, like in the early days of the band, what was like, that's always the connection with rock and roll and drugs. Like this is like, that's the narrative.
Yeah.
Was that in the early days of Pink Floyd? Was that the case?
It wasn't really relevant. I mean, during the time when I was smoking hash every day was 1970, 71, 70. So it's pre pre-Dark Side. It's when we were making medals, so it's echoes and things. But I don't think it impinged on my burgeoning writing career, if you like, when I was, starting to write songs, because Syd went crazy in 1967, and so by 69 we weren't seeing him anymore. He disappeared completely.
And was that because of LSD?
I'm going to try to cut out these commercials.
Or was it?
No, I don't think so. But,
that's the narrative, right?
Yeah, that's the narrative, or one of the narratives. It may be because he was mixing with people who were doing acid on a regular basis, I think, in 67. And I'm sure he did too much. He did too much of it. Was he teetering on the edge of what might be called schizophrenia at the time? I think so, probably. A lot of the things that he was saying, and it was right at the beginning of us getting our first record in any chart, which was Arnold Lane. No, it was after Arnold Lane. It was when See Emily Play came out, and we were beginning to do TV shows in England. He went very odd. And he started, I remember him at Top of the Pops in the dressing room one day. He had hair a bit like that painting on the wall. And going sort of like, and then going, looking worried and a bit frightened, and then going, John Lennon doesn't have to do this. Which was kind of wacky. This was like 3/4 of the way through the Beatles' career, because they'd only had that one decade, really. And so he had misgivings about being on a miming pop show, and Syd, this is what we've worked towards for the last 4 or 5 years, is to be on Top of the Pops and make a few quid, buck up, boy, let's get on with it. And but he never did buck up from sort of that moment on, really. He wrote a few more songs, but nothing of any real note. And he just got more and more and more detached until he was completely wacky and not making any sense. And I made a lot of attempts to find out what was wrong and to involve his family. He had elder brothers, so I would ring up and say, hey, there's something really wrong with Roger, as they called him, because his name was Roger Barrett, not Syd Barrett.
Oh.
I said, he's not well, I think. And one of the brothers actually came to London and went and saw him and called me up and went, he's fine. He's had some troubling times, but he's actually fine. And I went, Alan, he's not. But trust me, I live with him, Anyway. And we tried to get him to a shrink on a number of occasions, but he would never go in. And then it just got weirder and weirder.
Like, in what way weird? Like, what was
incommunicative, not making any sense at all. Not making any. It's like, I actually mention one of the periods, one of the moments is in the show, because it's in when we play Wish You Were Here, and I do wish he was here. And I mean, he's partly what that song's about, and Shine On You Crazy Diamond is just completely about Syd. But I tell the story in text in the show, and it goes, we'd been to a meeting at the Capitol Tower in Los Angeles, and Syd and I were walking down the street after it.
One of the biggest...
And we stopped at the traffic light at Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street in Los Angeles. And he looked at me and smiled, and he said, it's nice here in Las Vegas, isn't it? Well, we were in LA. So he already had no idea where he was, even like that. But then I say in the thing, you'll see it, the show, it says, then his face darkened and he looked down at the ground and spat out one word, people. And that sort of encapsulates what it was like. Nothing made any sense.
Disjointed.
Blank, disjointed, And there we were, all young, or very young.
Wait, let me go back just a tad bit.
idea where he was, even like that. But then I say in the thing, you'll see it, the show, it says, then his face darkened and he looked down at Angeles and he looked at me and smiled and he said, and we stopped at the traffic light at Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street in Los Angeles. And he looked at me and smiled and he said, it's nice here in Las Vegas, isn't it? Well, we were in LA. So that he already had no idea where he was, even like that. But then I say in the thing, you'll see it, the show, it says, then his face darkened and he looked down at the ground and spat out one word, people. And that sort of encapsulates what it was like. Nothing made any sense.
Disjointed.
Blank, disjointed, you know. And there we were, all young, all very young, and trying to make our way. And by that time, Dave had already joined the band to play guitar. And because Syd didn't play, I'm not saying he couldn't. Well, he couldn't really, because both of us made his solo records with him, helped produce his solo records after that point. And it was pretty kind of disjointed and difficult to get him to do anything.
Did it continue to deteriorate further after that?
Yeah. And then he went home to live in Cambridge and he lived a very solitary life. And I spoke to his sister Rosemary after that and saying, does it make any sense, to go and visit? No, don't do that. And she told me, I said, why not? And she said, well, he gets very agitated and upset if he's reminded of what happened before whatever this is. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want to see people from his past. He'd rather be left alone. And he did, and he used to paint a little bit and live just on his own in Cambridge until he died when he was 60.
Wow.
So I don't know what else to say about it, really. It was tragic, obviously. And but those of us who were in Pink Floyd at the time experienced it as a existential threat as well. Fuck me, what are we going to do? He writes the bloody songs. Well, I wrote about 20% of them before, but there were nothing. Syd's songs were the things that were different. They had that weird English romanticism about them. They were beautiful. I've got a bike, you can ride it if you like. It's got a basket, a bell that rings and things that make it look good. I'd give it to you if I could, but I borrowed it. That's so quirky in terms of its meter, the way the lyric attaches both to the melody and to the time signature and the tempo of the thing is remarkable. And it wasn't just, there were lots of quirky little songs like that, all in a very English romantic tradition and whatever. So how could we possibly survive? If the guy who writes the songs in the band goes crazy, you're fucked, basically. Unless somebody else starts to write. Luckily, I did. I did start to write. I don't mean to laugh because he was a huge loss. And I did love him.
For some strange reason, very strange reason, I just have a lot of sympathy for Syd Barrett. It seems like whatever it was, whether it was LSD, whether it was something else, someone slipped something into his drink or something hereditary, whatever it was that caused him to slip from what we see as the norm, is quite depressing to me. I'm so thankful that one of his older brothers did try to make it right for him. Rosemary came on the back end and told them not to give him a shot again because of, you know, what he may have been dealing with at that particular time in his life. He went into solitude. And that gives a great meaning to what his last words were with Roger, people. Regardless if he was understood or not. He became a painter. I draw myself, and I think that drawing, I presume for all who do draw, that are gifted at drawing, understand that drawing takes a lot out of you. And he went back to Cambridge and left the west coast of America and went back to England, London. He's a very unique person to me. I mean, I'm just fascinated by his character. I mean, that's why I spoke up on Bike so much, you know, because I saw the vision that he had. Like, it's not only because of the lyrics, it was the transitioning of the song halfway through. One of the most mind-blowing experiences, like, which catapulted me to this point in my journey into Pink Floyd lore. Roger only wrote 20% of the songs beforehand. They're an awesome, awesome group of people. Like, the tragedy of Syd Barrett is something I don't think that I can ever really like get away from. He was truly who spawned Pink Floyd. Although the name Pink Floyd came from two separate people from two separate bands. I didn't know that. It was mentioned in the comment area. I don't know how credible that is, but that's what I meant by you guys being so intelligent in the comment section. It's very amazing to me, like mind-blowing, like it's awesome, you know what I mean? I just want to say that I appreciate my subscribers so much. I appreciate all the comments, all the love, the likes that you give me. I'm just so appreciative, man. That's just, man, I just don't know how to express how appreciative I am. Just, it's great. It's awesome. I'm telling you that right now. You know, I'm a true believer. I believe in the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I do believe, you know, it's not to cause offense to anybody else that don't necessarily believe, but I believe, you know. And it's just the love that radiates from you guys is so powerful and so magnificent to me that I feel like I should allow you guys to know a few things about myself. You know, that's why I've been cracking here and there and saying certain things that I don't really express to people that I haven't really met, you know. But, I do have a surprise for you guys, all my subscribers. Later on, within a week, I hope to do so this coming week. And something that's going to potentially blow you guys' minds, I'm telling you right now. But I'm gonna try to get to all the concerts, live concerts, Pulse and the other one, Comfortably Numb. And I'm gonna try to tackle so many things that you guys are asking. All the other people too that have mentioned other bands like Led Zeppelin, Beatles, and Tool, and Radiohead. All these other bands that I never even listened to. I mean, like, it's a whole new world out there, I see. But I'm on this Pink Floyd journey right now. It's just that you know, my subscribers have been so loyal to me. Like, the greatest. And I really appreciate you guys. I really do. To those that are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below, leave a like. To all my subscribers, I love you guys. Till next time, deuces.